Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is the market radar for April 11th, Friday. Well, big down day today. Big down day. Yesterday we called for a down day. We got a down day. Bigger down day than I expected, but it was definitely a down day. Overall, the S&P ended up off 38.40. Dow was down 262.90, and the NASDAQ down over 3%, which brought us down 129.79. Those are big numbers and put some big marks on the chart. Start off looking at the 60-minute time frame here. Going into the yesterday, we knew that we're overbought. So the reason I had a downside bias going into today is because we were overbought on the 60-minute chart. Also believing that this could have been just a short-term bounce before we fail and move back down towards this underlying trend line. And boy, did that show up here. There's a line up here I wanted to recognize in case you do get up to that level. We pointed that out, but wasn't really looking for it. The pullback here, and I circled this today, at the last hour of the day, we're kind of concentrating on seeing what kind of 60-minute candle this was. And it was a much better candle before we saw some aggressive selling right at the close. It was actually showing a nice little reversal candle, like previous 60-minute time frames. But it didn't show up anything. So what we have now going into tomorrow, a Friday, which it's typically sometimes is a kind of a different attitude in the market. We have an oversold 60, which has, I would say, the majority of the time, it's a higher probability setup for a pivot area to be placed in a change of the directions, momentum shift. We have that, so that has to be considered as a positive. The daily, though, very negative. The fact that we tried to cross over and failed is a big negative. The candles, also very big negative. I mean, there's tremendous selling in the market. Volume wasn't greater. Volume's actually been kind of just normalized. And the overall pattern on the daily is not really damaged. I mean, there's still a lot of space down here, and that's why we're kind of focused on that 1800 level. We had a great guest on today. FT71 came on, and he gave us a lot of numbers to look at. And the numbers are down in this zone as to 29.50 to 27 and 25 on the futures. And we're not looking at the futures, but that really, reflects to what we are now. 1833 on the cash. And we're 1828 right now on the futures. When we look on the side there, you can see that we're right around that 1826 or 1828. So we know we're going to have some levels there also to watch. So it's a very tough call, I think, going into tomorrow. My gut is telling me downside. The 60-minute time frame has been such a good time frame to watch. I want it to work out. I want to say, wow, that 60 minutes is so reliable. I want to see this thing move back up here. So with that said, 60 is very bullish. Normally, I always like to see those reversals happen as we take out the lows. So there is some downside left, and that's one thing I do believe we're going to get further downside. Further downside is going to bring us to some of these zones underneath us, so we're going to fight it out and chop around here. So pretty much I think we're going to end up in the red tomorrow. I think we're going to come down a little bit further. Possibility of a turn back up, or maybe just a chop session. Maybe this starts to get embedded. It's a kind of a harder call right now. There was a good support line that we broke down through. Normally I like to see a retracement of that, a failure. When you establish a new channel, a new trend line, which we can actually put a new line in right here, and we take a look at some of the other new pivots, and consider this is all support line. This is really hasn't really gave us a new pivot area yet. If we draw this line in right here, that would bring this market down a little bit further than that underlying channel line. This was one I would actually pay attention to a little bit more. So I'd watch this lower trend line. For any reason we get down there, we could zoom this out. We'll probably see that this intersects that 1800 level down there. So overall a picture, I want to call for a downside day. All right. And again, it's going to be another single red arrow. The arrows, the signals are really based on the indicators. The indicators are, we don't have a dual stochastic indicator, which would be a main setup. We have a kind of a crossing indicator. We have a daily negative and a 60 bullish. So that's, you know, kind of cancels out the dual indicator, which I would really consider as a good one. The trend lines, we broke down through one, but we're not at a bounce level yet, and so that's nothing really there. So I'm going to just give it one arrow down, looking for some more downside, and that's it. At one point, we probably would look for a bounce, and that depends if we're going to get back above 1840. And first of all, we get back through that 3450 area above us too. Alright, so that's it going into tomorrow. Hope you get to tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a Friday, and we'll talk to you then. I'm going to actually try to get another video out tonight. There's a lot of good HPS setups on individual stocks, and I'm going to try to update those, the Toyota and some other ones, but that's for a different video. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.